This guy, Tim Shieff, you may know him as an athlete. You may know him as a cosmological theorist who has presented the bold and daring new idea that the Earth is flat, despite scientific evidence to the contrary. You may know him for many things and many controversies on YouTube. But what I know him as, what he is to me, is the guy who showed up at vegan conferences wearing a t-shirt that said ethics. And not just ethics, ethics, period. The t-shirt has the period on it. And if you too want to show up at a vegan conference, at a vegan festival, at a vegan event as a speaker, and wear a t-shirt that just says the word ethics, ethics, period, you could buy it online. Because Tim Shieff himself, yes, he is the man to charge you like more than $40 for a plain white t-shirt with a plain black graphic that just says ethics. Or you could buy a marker and write it on the fabric yourself and save yourself a few dollars and take a few dollars away from Tim Shieff and his supposedly 100% ethical clothing company. So Tim Shieff, you rode into town on that ethics horse. And it's on that same horse that you were going to leave by the down road. But this is not PewDiePie, people. Okay, you have not tuned in to see PewDiePie. You have not tuned in to see Vegan Gains roll out the B word and the R word and the C word and maybe the L word and the X word and some other words I don't even know. You've tuned into à-bas-le-ciel. And you haven't tuned in for some kind of momentary knee-jerk off-the-cuff reactions. No. You want me to take a step back. You want me to see this in its whole historical context. Let's break it down. Where did this really come from? How did this all get started? It started with a man named Louis Lumiere. And his company, his outfit, was known as the Lumiere brothers. He and his brother were both involved. And they were the first people to do YouTube. They did YouTube before it was called YouTube. They got teams of young men and sent them around the world with cameras. And they put together a type of show that had never been seen or done before, where they gave people short clips of life. Cinema verite, some people called it. They wouldn't really report on politics, but they'd have short clips of dignitaries arriving at a negotiation. And then they'd cut straight from that to just a scene of people walking around a market square, maybe in far-off Istanbul. At a time when travel around the world was much more difficult and dangerous than it is today, the peculiar style of, short YouTube clips, that's really what it looked like. These short clips of real-world events gathered together seemingly at random, presented to people in a dark room for a low price. This was a new and stimulating form of infotainment, I guess you'd say, that, the world had never seen or thought of before. And interestingly, when he was interviewed about it, when he talked to his employees about it, Louis Lumiere himself never believed in this as a durable product. He didn't think we'd be talking about this in the year 2018, that it would go on through various mutations to be an art form that still exists today. He would always say to people again and again, look, this job you're doing, there's no future in it. This is a fad. It could last for 5 more years. It could last for 6 more months. Who knows? It's going to come and go. Sooner or later, people are just going to get bored of watching clips of random things taken from around the world and put together. And, the next step, what Louis Lumiere didn't think of, was of collecting comments from his viewers and then having someone stand at the front of the house in the cinema and read those out. Or perhaps take the comments and project them on screen so that you could see them obscuring the action as it unfolds. And that really, in terms of the history of cinema, that is the next step that YouTube took. That's exactly what the Lumiere brothers, that's what they didn't have going for them, was the comment section. A lot of people hate me on the internet. Why? Is it because of something I said in a video? No. The vast majority of people who hate me because of something they've seen in the comment section. And it could be a comment section to someone else's video, and it could be that they came to my channel and while the video was playing, in the first 10 seconds or something, they scroll down and read the comments first while the video is playing, or all too often, they just look at the comments and don't pay attention to the video. We all know this happens, but I don't know if anyone knows it as well as I do, because I've really talked about this with people, shall we say face-to-face. It's normally over Skype. Sometimes it is in real life face-to-face. And like they tell me, it's unbelievable. I'm so offended. I'm aghast that you would say that you find Nina and Randa unattractive. If you don't know who Nina and Randa are, don't Google it. Don't Google it. You don't need to know. Just imagine that someone on YouTube would state their opinion that someone else is unattractive. That to begin with. I'm skeptical. I don't know if I believe that has ever happened in the history of YouTube. I don't know if I believe that that's ever happened in the history of vegan videos on YouTube. But let's not get into that. But you're telling me that you've seen a video in which I said Nina and Randa weren't attractive, and I would say back, well, do you know what the context was? Do you know what topic I was discussing when I mentioned that in passing? Like, do you know what the video was about? And they don't know, because they haven't seen it, they haven't considered it, or even if they did click on the video, all they saw were comments claiming I'm a terrible person, how dare you. It's a reaction to something other than what I actually said in its original context. This is not the only example I could offer. But let's do the right thing here, people. Let's completely disregard, what Tim Shieff has to say, and go straight to the comment section. And like everyone else, let's look at what are either the most inflammatory comments or the comments that got the most thumbs up, the comments that, through the mysterious machinations of YouTube, are put up at the top of the list, right? I mean, that would just be like, going to the cinema to see newsreel broadcasts and not watching the newsreel and not listening with an open mind, but just going and reading the comments that have been scrolled by other members of the audience before you got there, letting their judgments preform your judgments, prejudge, prejudice. You see where I'm going with this? Oh, here's a great comment from Healthy Crazy Cool. So Healthy Crazy Cool, that's another YouTube channel. He must know what he's talking about. Tim, you know I love and respect you like a brother, 100%. But I feel like you are on this quest to find quote-unquote perfection, which does not exist. I've been there before. You don't have to label yourself and follow something strictly to thrive. You've been raw, you fasted for 35 days, and you've done vegan keto. You've tried all the extremes. You won't find the feeling of perfection because it's not there. I'm not done reading out this comment in the terrible British accent. This guy, Tim Shieff, would turn up in Los Angeles at VegFest wearing a t-shirt that said ethics, period. This guy was put on, was given a platform, was given encouragement by exactly the same people who would have never touched me with a 10-foot pole, would have never eaten lunch with me, would have never promoted my channel or interviewed me when I was in Los Angeles myself. Okay? This guy passed the, refined requirements of people like Happy Healthy Vegan, all the idiots who were endorsing and supporting Durian Ryder and Freely before, everyone who was jumping on every little bandwagon, you guys all supported and endorsed this guy, Tim Shieff, the whole Los Angeles vegan demi-monde. And what did you get? You got a guy in a t-shirt that says ethics, period, who doesn't have an ethical bone in his body, who doesn't give a damn about ethical veganism, who's just on some kind of magical mystery vision quest to feel his best, and who's completely mystified at why he has pain in his bones, pain in his joints, pain in his wrists and his ankles and his knees and his elbows, after repeatedly throwing himself off of rooftops, making hard landings on steel and concrete again and again and again as a part of a made-up imaginary sport that made him a little bit famous and got him a little bit of attention on cable TV. That's who this guy is. And his magical mystery mission to be all he can be ends now. Because in his desperation to cure his aching bones and his aching joints, he's gone back to eating meat. His reasons for being vegan were stupid and self-indulgent to begin with, and his reasons for going back to eating meat are just as stupid and self-indulgent. If there's one person on earth who shouldn't have a clothing company named Ethics, who shouldn't be selling a t-shirt named Ethics, with Ethics blazoned across his chest, who shouldn't be standing there at VegFest representing Ethics, it's Tim Shieff. I think a better t-shirt for this guy from day one would have been male bimbo. I've said it before, the word bimbo can be applied to either gender. And in this case, Tim, if the shoe fits, wear it. But what's this? Why aren't I seeing my fellow vegans on YouTube, like Healthy Crazy Cool, trying to hold old Tim Shieff here to a higher moral standard? Why aren't you guys interested in keeping Mr. Ethics himself, keeping up to the standard of what he prints on his clothes and sells you for more than $40? I don't know. Oh. Quote, I honestly believe you just need to relax. All caps. You just need to relax and put your guards down. Stress is one of the biggest causes of disease and can cause all kinds of issues with your gut-brain axis and also your energy. Yeah, wow. The guy in the ethics t-shirt makes the completely unethical decision to go back to eating meat after preaching ethics, after selling that t-shirt, wearing that at these conferences. And what you have to say is, wow, what you really need to do is relax, because there's something wrong with your energy. Hey, let's keep going here. Hey, Healthy Crazy Cool. He established in the first sentence that he loves and respects this guy like a brother. Love and respect like a brother. Okay. I have been in your position when I used to eat very high fruit, high carb, not enough fat and protein. I felt like trash. Mysteriously, by the way, some words are randomly capitalized in the middle of sentences. In this case, at the end of the sentence, it's trash with a capital T. I felt like trash. But it wasn't that veganism wasn't for me. It was that I haven't found a way of eating that suits my personal body. I also once craved fish and eggs, but I was able to quench it by eating a much higher fat vegan diet. There is no one way for everyone, and you don't have to follow anyone else's trend or any kind of strict regimen that has been laid out by others. I feel like anyone who didn't eat for 35 days and then went fruitarian would have both mental and physical imbalances. Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. Tim, I love and respect you like a brother, but your idea of healing the pain in your joints caused very clearly by a high-impact, destructive, and self-destructive sport. The way to cure that, you thought, was fasting, because in your words, fasting is the most healing thing there is. And Healthy Crazy Cool, who loves you like a brother, is letting you know that anyone who did that must have both mental and physical imbalances. So in plain English, he's telling you that you're crazy and you're sick, in that order. Be a much different statement here if you actually said what you meant there. Healthy Crazy Cool. It goes on to tell him to breathe and relax, get rid of any rigid rules. Much of this, in my opinion, could be due to overanalyzing and the fact that a diet you believed in for so long, raw, can't actually serve you long term. But there are other ways, so many ways, of thriving on a plant-based diet. Food is also there to be enjoyed, capital E, and celebrated as a part of life, not just a set of rules that is supposed to make you feel a certain way. Yeah, it's real easy to say that you're motivated by trying to save the animals, that you're trying to save the planet. But when it comes right down to it, the vast majority of people in this game are motivated by money, fame, power, respect, and sex. Not necessarily in that order.